All right, we got it. New formatting, still working out. Welcome to your practice. We'll start out with some breathing, so you can find a comfortable seat on your mat. I'm gonna head back there as well. All right. So when you find your comfortable posture, you just reflect on the spine. Open up the lungs by sort of lifting the rib cage up, perching it on top of the low spine. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose. I haven't done this in a while, but we'll work on Durga Pranayam. So the zones that we'll focus on today will be the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And it's one continuous breath, but you're just filling up each zone first on the inhale, and then as you exhale, you'll empty sequentially. Okay, and we'll inhale from low to high, and you'll exhale from high to low. This is to train all of our lungs, open up parts of our lungs maybe we're not using, and we're also elongating our breath by doing this. So exhale the air, and just inhale to the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then exhale the chest, the ribs, the belly. Inhale the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhale the chest, the ribs, the belly. Inhale the belly, the ribs, the chest. And exhale the chest, the ribs, the belly. Keep breathing. Take your hands maybe to the zone or zones that maybe needs a little bit more awareness. You can feel the belly moving, but maybe not the ribs. So you place your hands on your ribs as you inhale. Belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. A couple more like that. Inhaling from low to high, and then exhaling from high to low. Feeling three distinct areas. Inhaling from low to high, and exhaling from high to low. Maybe taking your hand now to the area that moves the best. Making sure that it's not moving. So if your hand's on your chest, you're not moving your hand when you're breathing in your belly. So you're isolating each chamber of this breathing. Exhaling from low to high to low. And then inhaling from low to high. Exhaling high to low. Inhaling from low to high. More at your own pace, silently practicing. Feeling each area expand with in breath and empty without breath. Right where you are, just go ahead and rock into tabletop position. And continue this breathing here. Continue this breathing of belly, ribs, and chest as you inhale. And then exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. And you can undulate your spine as you do this. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest, maybe hanging the spine. And then exhaling chest, ribs, belly, rounding the spine. A little more like that, back and forth. Inhaling, exhaling. Articulating the spine with the Dirga Pranayama. Belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Couple more. Good. Go ahead. Push your ribs out to the left a little bit. Just take a breath in the side ribs. Go ahead. Push your ribs out to the right a little bit. And take a breath into the side ribs. Go back to center. Stretch back through your right leg. Open your throat. Look over your right shoulder. Change your legs. Put the left leg back. Look over your left shoulder and breathe. Good. Coming down to your forearms. Walk the knees back. And you're going to fill in the back a little bit, squeezing the belly. It's important here, when we breathe here on the inhale, we will keep the belly toned. So we'll really expand more the back and the chest and the ribs. And on the exhale, just keep drawing the belly muscles in to firm up the core, drawing the chest on the exhale. Inhale, breathing into the back, not releasing the belly muscles as you inhale. 3 more like that. And then drop your hips down to the earth. Go ahead and walk your hands out in front of you. So you can rest the belly and the pelvis. Even the base ribs will kind of rest on the mat, and then you'll peel the front ribs up off the mat. So just the base ribs. You're going to breathe here by drawing your shoulder blades back. Breathe into the chest area. And exhale. Inhale into the chest. And exhale. Again. Good. You can take your elbows out a little wider. Your hands are kind of in front of your nose a little bit from your forehead. You're going to lift up your left leg. You're going to pull your left leg back to the right so it stacks the hips. You can rest on a cheek or on your forehead. And then just roll back to center. So we're opening the front of our hip flex. You're going to roll the right leg up and back, turning your gaze to the right. And then roll back. So you're getting a low back twist. And you're also getting a little bit of a hip opener. Left leg up and back. Take a breath in and release it. If you're careful, if you're listening, you can actually feel it. The elbow, if you keep the elbow planted, the chest down, you actually get a stretch in the front of the chest as well. Let's go back and forth a couple more times, lifting up one leg, pulling it across the body. And what I meant by careful is that, like, you've got to keep your shoulders and elbows kind of steady to open up the front of the chest muscle on that side. Linking it with your breath. Come back to neutral. Good. Go ahead, bend both of your knees so your toes are pointed in the sky a little bit. Go ahead, pull your hands back, pushing the knees down, kind of scoop yourself forward. Keep the core drawn in as you lift up into mermaid posture. It's like a cobra on your knees. Let's sit back, rounding our back a little bit, sinking back. Once again, let's return to that undulating tabletop. Breathing through our three zones, belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Two more like that. Feel the breath articulating with the musculature of the torso. Bring the left knee forward. And lift up the right knee. And just kind of stretch your chin forward and up. Let's change the legs. Push the left leg back. Pull the right knee forward as far as it'll go. Stretch the chin up. Good. That back knee can be down. So this isn't quite a lunge yet, Kat. You're actually doing almost like a pigeon without opening the feet. Yeah, so you can be on the shin of the right leg. Yes, there you go. Let's do that one more time each side. So you're sliding the shin back and then sliding the other shin forward, just to kind of get a softer hip opener here. Keeping the body lifted. That's it. Let's change legs. Last round. Good. Go ahead and roll onto your side and swing your back leg all the way around to the front of your mat. You're going to keep your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, or flattish on the floor. You're going to support under your knee or over the top and drop your belly muscles back, rounding the shoulders a little bit, making a broad back body. And you're going to kind of pull with your elbows. Try to draw your elbows back. Bring your chest forward. As you bring your chest forward, feel those shoulder blades squeezing onto your back as you lift your chest up. Inhaling. Now let's reverse it. Sitting back, rounding. And then pull with your muscles of your arms, like a bicep pull. Drawing those shoulder blades in and back, lifting up the heart. Exhale, sitting back. Dropping the chin here, rounding that back body. And we're going to pull forward one more time. That's the inhalation. Good. Now let's go all the way down to our backs. You're going to pull the left knee into your chest. And then you're going to grab the left ankle with your right hand. You're going to pull that ankle towards your other hip, towards your belly. So you're kind of doing like a pigeon pose upside down with your arm strength. Good. Let's release that leg. Let's pull up the right knee. And with your left hand, hold the right ankle and pull the ankle towards the belly. So you're getting like, again, it's like a pigeon pose, but you're exposed to the sky as opposed to the ground. And then release that leg. Let's alternate a couple more times. Bring up the left leg, knee in first, and then ankle in second. Using the arms to guide the leg, guide the shin. Changing, using the right leg in, knee first, and then right ankle in second. Changing out the leg, last round, bring up the left, knee in, and then ankle in. Releasing that leg, drawing it in. and then ankle, and then releasing those feet to the floor. You're gonna push your elbows and your shoulders down into your yoga mat. Push your elbows and your shoulders down into your yoga mat. So much so that you actually feel your heart kind of lift up a little bit, kind of curves off the mat. Good. And then squeeze the shoulder blades a little closer together. Keep that. Keep that shelf of your shoulder blades. And you're going to push down with your feet and lift up your hips as you continue to squeeze the shoulder blades and push the elbows down into the floor. Good. Go ahead and roll back down. Keep your hands where they are. You're just going to pull your left knee in with your hips and just reach like you're trying to walk or put a footprint on your ceiling with the left leg, and then come back to the floor. Pull the right knee in, not using your hands, just with your hip muscles. Reach like you're going to put a footprint on the ceiling with your left leg, your right leg, and then put the foot back on the floor. Let's do that 2 more times on each side. So left knee in, footprint on the ceiling, and then foot on the floor. Right knee in, footprint on the ceiling, foot on the floor. Left knee in, foot on the ceiling, foot on the floor. Right knee in, foot on the ceiling, foot on the floor. Good. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees start to fall open. You can support your thighs with blocks if you want. As you bring the feet together, interweb your fingers and place them behind the head so your elbows are out wide. Take a moment, press your head down to lift your upper back off the mat. As you press your head down and lift your upper back off the mat, squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. With the shoulder blades in towards each other, turn and look out over your right elbow. Good. Turn and look out over your left elbow. Good. You can change the interlocking of the hands. And once again, look over your right elbow. You're looking to your right. Listen carefully. Lift up your right knee and take your right knee over to the left. So you're twisting away from your gaze. Good. Open back up to butterfly legs and look over to the left elbow. Lift up the left knee and take it over to the right, twisting away from your gaze. Back to center. Bring both knees up. Squeeze your belly muscles in and curl your forehead up towards your knees like you're trying to touch your knees and forehead to each other. They might not do that. Feeling that the low back is flat on the mat. Start to extend your feet straight out in front. Yeah, not straight up in the sky, but out on a diagonal, out in front of you. Feeling the core engaged. That's it. Don't let the low back lift off the mat. And good. Rest the feet on the floor. Rest your head on the floor. Let's do that again. Bring the knees and the forehead towards each other. Extend out with the legs. And then rest the feet on the floor. Rest the head on the floor. Knees and forehead towards each other. Extend out the legs. Rest the feet and the head on the floor. Just take a moment, be here. Keep opening your shoulders. You can press the elbows into the floor and pull the shoulder blades down your back. Breathe, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Let's roll to our side and press all the way back up to our tabletop pose once again. Extend your left leg back and turn the inner foot down. You can bring your right foot off your mat like a kickstand. Let's inhale, open up the left arm to the side. So left leg is back, left arm is up. Side crescent here is side gate pose, we call it. Take that top arm and reach it like you're resting your palm on a coffee table. And then slide the hand back along the coffee table. Good, now slide the hand all the way the other way, like you're going out in front of your body, and you're gonna hover your hand over your hip and draw that arm back. So your hand is moving completely on the horizontal plane. Slide your palm along the horizontal plane. That's it, all the way around, opening back the chest, leaning back, and then one more time, kind of closing it in. Don't lose your balance like me. Pull the hand all the way back by the hip, sort of pinky edge leading the way. And then let's rotate back. Send the right leg back. Let's come to the inner edge of the foot, left foot out. And let's open the right arm to the sky. Take that arm overhead like you're gonna rest it on a shelf. So you're resting on our coffee table ledge. That's it. And let's lean back first. And then pinky edge leads the way. It's smooth, perfectly level. Using and listening to that shoulder joint as you move. Think about its mobility, its range of motion. Wow, I have a lot more range of motion on this side. Taking that other arm all the way up. We have to do the first side again just so I can experience how limited my other arm is. And then karate chop, almost like with the pinky edge of the mat, pinky edge of the hand, sliding along. And then the thumb edge, leading back one more time, and back to center. I do want to try that again. Let's see if we can, if you notice any difference in your range of motion. Put the left leg back, kickstand the right toes out. Let's lift up the left arm high into the sky. And take it over the head. Good. Start by following the thumb back, opening up, and then pinky edge all the way. Thumb edge all the way. 2 times each side. 3 total. Breathing. Back to center. Right leg back, kickstand the foot, open up the right arm. Reach it overhead. Swoop the arm. Three rounds, swooping the arm. Long breath to complement this arcing movement. Back to center. Good. Shift the weight back. You can sit your hips back towards your heels, curl into a ball, child's pose. That feels nice. Knees close, knees apart. Let's just rest here. That side body should be very opened up. Practice thread the needle. Coming up to tabletop pose. You're going to stretch your left hand high into the sky. You're going to stay above the ground, but you're going to thread under the right arm. Turning your gaze and fingertips all the way over to the right. Then inhale up to the sky. It's called thread the needle. Keep the arm off the ground for now. Scoop under the arm, under the armpit, twisting the upper spine. Last round, you're going to open it all the way up to the sky. That's an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to go all the way under. And in fact, this time, press that arm against the floor as you bring the shoulder and head down to the mat. Breathe into the pose. Breathe into what's being opened in the pose. Inhale, out of the shape, back to tabletop. Let's go right to our second side. Inhale, stretch your right arm high to the sky. It's a little bit of an ab engagement as you thread the needle without letting the arm touch the floor. Turning the gaze as well. Your core does a strong rotation. Inhale all the way up. Exhale under. Inhale up. Exhale under. This is the third round, so you'll place the arm down, press it into the floor as you bring the shoulder and head down. Breathe here. Inhaling back to center. Let's come down onto our bellies again. Inhale, cobra posture. You can tone your leg muscles, lift up the legs as well, locust shape. And then exhale, softly lower down. Turn your head to one side. Inhale, lift up head, shoulders, and legs. Exhale, turn your head to the other side. Inhale, shoulders, head, and legs. Exhale, turn the head, lower down. Inhale, rise. Other side. Straight up this time. You're going to lean onto your right side of your body and pull your left knee wide and forward. G.I. Joe pose. Good. With the left knee forward, you're going to take your right hand off the mat so your right elbow's in the air. Good. And look over at your right elbow. Breathe here. Good. Let's come back to center. Lifting up. G.I. Joe, bring the right knee forward and put the left hand out as you turn the head to look at your left elbow. Inhaling back to center. Let's lift up and do our first downward dog of the class, all the way back. We'll be here for 5 deep breaths. Take this moment to really neutralize our spine and quite a bit of twisting. Neutralize the spine, pressing the shoulders and the chest towards the feet. Tone the belly muscles. And breathe. Good. Walk the feet a little bit forward, nice and wide. Do a wide-legged downward dog. And then walk the hands back, do a wide-legged forward fold. Go ahead, push on down through your pelvis to rise up to mountain at the front of your mat. Good. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Push the hands together to bring the elbows out wide. Nice. As you push the hands together, try to pull the hands now as low as they'll go without opening the hand at all. So palm to palm, fingers perfectly vertical. This will draw the shoulder blades down the back very nicely. Keep this shape. We're going to draw our belly muscles in and push our belly muscles down through our hips, down into our feet. Good. Slowly turn the palms, push them straight forward, like you were sort of trying to hold up something, holding up a wall or something like that. Yeah, that's good. Flexing the wrist. You're going to pull like you're parting curtains, open straight out into a T shape. Notice the fingers are still pointing straight vertical, wide T shape. Push out through the arms. As you're pushing out through the arms, turn and look out through your right hand. Good. Drop the hands down below. Bring the palms together and place them in front of your heart again. Same posture. Pushing the palms, but pulling them down. Drawing the shoulder blades against the back. Feel that stable, solidified. Then slowly push straight forward. And then open out wide into a T shape. Nice and slow. Elbows straight as soon as you can. Elbows straight, John. Look straight through the left hand. As you reach those hands away from the shoulders. Shoulders away from the spine. Good. Drop it on down. Let's do that set again. Tone your kneecaps, friends. Drawing energy through the legs. Pull the hands down. Push the hands straight forward. Elbow straight. Good. Separate. Pushing away from you. Stare through your right hand. And release it down. Last round. Palms push together. Push forward, elbows straighten. And then reach it out wide, staring through left hand. And come down. Excellent. Good. Turn the palms to face forward and draw the arms back, pressing the back of your arms against an imaginary wall. Open the chest, almost like you're leaning forward. Good. You can get a little more weight on the front of your feet. Maybe the heels even hover because the hips and the chest are kind of arcing, crescenting forward and up. Good. Keep wrapping those shoulder blades into each other. Into each other. Squeeze the arms like you're trying to pinch your elbows together or pinch your pinky edge of your hand together. Very nice. And let's go ahead and step our right leg back, warrior one legs. Keep the arms and the shoulders just as they are. Nothing else changes but the legs. Squeeze the front of your hips the front hip points towards each other, squaring your body to the front of the room. It's okay to have a shorter stance. Squeeze these front hip points towards each other. This will tone your glutes as well. Good. Now reach forward like you're going to offer a tray of food or something to somebody, or a gift to somebody. You're reaching it out in front. Keep your back heel down on the floor. You got it. Leaning forward just a little bit. So the weight's over your thighs. Now slowly lift that arm up, all the way up into your full warrior one. And step to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Drop the hands down. Turn the palms forward and start to draw the back of the arm back, squeezing the shoulders, the elbows, and the pinky edge of the hand towards each other. Go ahead, keep that squeeze of that upper back body toned and engaged as you step the left foot back into warrior one leg. It could be a little shorter today. You're continuing to squeeze in the upper back area, opening the chest. Looks great, everyone. Nice and slow. You're going to scoop the hands forward and reach them forward like you're offering a gift. Don't let that back heel lift. Hips are nice and steady. Squeeze those front hip points in towards each other to stabilize your hips. Keep that. Lift those arms up. Full warrior one. And step out, mountain pose. Excellent, excellent. Release the hands down by your sides. Take a step back again with your right foot. Legs are straight. Squeeze those front hip points towards each other. Touch the front hip points and just think that there's energy moving them in at the center of the hip there. Good. Press down through your feet. Once again, squeeze the shoulders onto the back like we just did. It's basically the same shape, except now the front leg is straight. Holding arms back, toning those shoulder blades onto the spine. You're going to start to lean forward, hinging at the hip. Hinging at the hip. Just a quarter of the way is fine. You're going to get a lot of stretch for just a quarter of the movement. Good. Now, like a big butterfly arc, you're going to take your arms wide and up, trying to keep your hands wide and back so you open across the chest. Maybe the thumbs will touch behind you, above you, like you're diving out, opening up that back body. That's it. Lean forward a little bit, Kathy. You got it. Big butterfly stroke swing like you were a swimmer. And then you're going to bring the hands straight down to the front leg and slowly start to round the back. Slowly start to round the back, any amount. Good work. Good work. Bend your front knee and step to the front of your yoga mat. Awesome. You're going to bring the left leg back. So it's a warrior one stance, not too crazy, not too much, but the legs will be straight for this round. You're going to bring the palms in that same gesture. Draw the arms back, drawing the shoulder blades back, toning that back body. Slow as you can. You're going to lean forward just a little bit and keep that. And then sort of make this big symbol-like, circular-like gesture with your arms. Right hands like a big butterfly stroke. Opening the front of the chest as much as you can. Maybe bringing the hands back and over your head behind you. You really feel the back muscles engaging here. Once you're at the height of that shoulder mobility, you're going to bring the hands straight down to the front leg and start to round the upper spine with it as you bow. And step forward. rising back up. Good work. Back muscles should be really engaged at this point. Let's go ahead and take a wide horse stance on our mat. So our feet are turned out about 45 degrees. And just start by sinking into the hips and then straightening the legs. Let's do that a couple more times. I'm just going to sink into the hip by pushing the knees out over the pinky toe and then coming back up. Try to stay upright as you can, Kathy. Don't lean forward with the body. You want to stay upright so the core stays engaged and it really focuses on opening the hip. When we start to lean forward, we don't really open the hip. We just sort of change the angle a little bit. So we're going to keep our body upright like our back is going down a wall and push the knees out. This will cause the core to tone and you'll feel a deeper stretch in the inner thigh. One more time. Straight down with the spine. And let's release that back up. So the feet are still pointed out 45 degrees. You're going to bend just the right knee so the left leg is straight. Just the right knee so the left leg is straight. You're going to slide the left hand down the left leg. And bend your right knee deeper. Inhale back up. Bend the left knee. Slide the right hand down. Bend the knee deeper. And inhale back up. One more time. Bend the left knee. Slide. Oh no. Bend the right knee. Sorry. Bend the right knee. Slide the left hand. So it's the first side again. Sorry about that. Bend the right knee again. Inhale back up. Second side. That's your left knee. And it's your right hand. A little bit deeper. Inhale back up. Good. Let's go ahead and square our feet. Take a moment. Change the hip rotation. Now you're going to even angle a little more than square if it feels okay to your hip. So you're bringing those front hip points in. You're bringing your pinky toe a little closer than your outer heel. So it's a kind of like pigeon toed, right? You're actually turning the feet in a little bit. Check your hip. Make sure there's nothing, sharp or even a dullness. You really should feel stable in the hip joint if you're doing this one. And then you're going to drop forward. You get the hands to the floor, wherever feels appropriate. Inhale, rounding back up. Let's keep those feet slightly pigeon-toed as you turn the right foot out. So that left foot's a little more closed than usual, and you'll bend into that warrior two shape. Bring your hands to your hips, and let's close the hips a little more than usual. So again, we're working on that front hip, staying a little more closed than our normal practice. A little bit more of a closed stance in our warrior two today. Good, let's turn the right foot all the way back in, slightly pigeon-toed. And then turn the left foot out. The outer edge will be parallel with the mat. And so we have a slightly closed warrior two today. The hands can touch those front hip points, and you energetically think like they're being stitched together. This will keep that front knee really stable over that front heel. Looks good. You get a lot of release in the back of the hips this way. Inhale, back out. So go back to those pigeon-toed or slightly pigeon-toed, wide-legged stance. We'll practice our Trikonasana now. Slightly closed today. In addition to it being slightly closed, it's also just a little bit shorter, like a little bit narrower. You get a different kind of hip opening this way. It's not a step backwards in your mobility. Okay, so it's a similar stance to our more closed warrior two. The hips are slightly turned forward. And so for today, just for our shoulder, you'll keep your left hand on your left hip. The right hand will slide down like normal. We're keeping that stance slightly closed. Move the center of your pelvis back on a diagonal. Good. Try to keep your hips steady and do again, as usual, rotate your shoulders. This could be the end of the pose. And if you want to sprout the arm, feel encouraged to sprout that back arm. Good. Pushing down through your feet. They should feel really strong there with that shorter stance to come back up. Let's pigeon toe and then rotate the left out. So it's shorter, narrower, more closed stance. To bring the front hip points in, you're going to slide then the left hand down. Keep the right hand on the hip for now and establish this just more compact stance to open the back of the hip a little more safely. Still rotating the shoulders once you have found your shape. If you want to sprout the top arm, please go ahead. Still mindful that those front hip points are working towards each other. Inhaling back up. Go ahead, bend your front knee and step to the front of the mat. Take the left hand on top of the head and draw the head to the side. So the right hand be very heavy today. Switch sides. Good. Bring the legs as close together as you feel confident, comfortable with it. And then separate the heels a little further apart. So we're just getting that slightly internally rotated shape. Not too much, just enough. You don't feel any achy pressure. One other trick is to actually bring the hips back in space a bit, just a little bit, an inch or half an inch. Good. You're going to take your arms out in a V, and you're going to cross your left under your right, keeping the V. Just squeeze them past each other. Squeeze them past each other, and they can start to wrap around each other. Good. Keep the arms and just start to bend your knees any amount. That's good. Stretch the top of the shoulder here. We've done a great job toning that upper back, just releasing some of those muscles now. And nice and gently open back up, starting position. Check the feet again. Notice if they move. They're as close together as you feel comfortable with it, but then just part the heel an inch to a half inch. Do the second side where you take the left elbow. Left elbow over, I think. Yeah, left elbow over. Squeezing across. And then as you squeeze across, it should naturally happen by trying to go further that the hands can join. If they don't join, don't worry about it. Just keep squeezing across the whole time. You'll get that same upper shoulder opener. And then when you're ready, you start to bend the knees any amount. Good. Inhale back up. Let's relax our arms down. Beautiful. Take your arms up to a field goal post. Field goal post. If you have a wall available to you, you can practice this at the wall. And what you'll do is, as well, put the heels against the wall. Put your shoulders against the wall. Put your elbows against the wall. Your fingertips, really the wrists, ideally. The skull. Can you get your shoulders, hips, and heels against the wall? Let's just be here for a moment. If it's available, if this is difficult, you'll bring your elbows down and the hands wide. If this feels very manageable, you'll bring your elbows up higher and you'll put the hands on top of the head, still against the wall. Good. Now, to the best of your ability, soften your belly muscles back towards the wall. Your low back doesn't have to touch, but you're softening your belly muscles in such a way that you're moving that direction. Stay with it. You might start to get a little uncomfortable. Stay with it. Gently peel yourself off the wall. Letting the head and shoulders grow heavy. Back to your mat. And we'll try some balancing. Today we'll focus on balancing. So you'll step into your right foot and come up on your left tiptoe. If you think you might keep your foot on the floor the whole time, I recommend putting a block on the high setting or the low medium setting, doesn't matter. And you're going to put the toe on that block. And because the block's not quite stable, but it's there for some support. I put as little bit of pressure in that block as possible and really learning how to stabilize on the standing leg. That's what we want to focus on. Stabilize on the standing leg. If you don't need the block, you just hover your toe. Just hover your toe. No hands. We'll practice those same shoulder exercises we did earlier, where your palms are face forward and you draw back. So keep your body very upright. I want to cower forward and be pulled down by our hip flexor. Good. Let's bring that foot down. Let's shift the block over and try the second side. So left foot is going to be our stable leg, and we'll toe touch any height that works for you. Tippy toe touch with the right toe. And if you want, you can work on no toe touching. And it's there if you need it. So we can really focus on balancing and stabilizing in that standing leg and hip. Engage the shoulders to keep that body very upright as you practice. Good. Coming down. Let's move that block over. Let's go one setting lower than you just had it. I know usually we do progressions, and we are progressing, but we're just using the block a little bit easier to start. Okay, so it's that same thing we worked on earlier. You're going to push down through your right foot, your left toe's going to come up on the block, and you're going to start in your open arms. I'm actually turn to the side view. It's easier to see what I mean. Peeling the shoulders back. You're going to slowly, like there was a wall there, slide those arms wide, pulling back with the chest. You're going to lift up as high as you can. Steady. You can be balancing the whole time here if you'd like. Thinking about those thumbs maybe someday reaching each other, but not coming forward to reach each other. So the upper back has to tone and engage, and the shoulder blade muscles have to tone and engage to lift up the arms. So we're not bringing the hands into the front plane. You can use your camera to check your own, but notice how my arms have not come forward, but they are back behind me. And that's about my range of motion without bringing my hands forward. And now if I want to, I'm going to pull that leg back any amount as I tilt my body forward. And I'm not letting the arms come in front of my head. They're staying in the back plane. Like I've got big parachute wings attached to my arms. And they're pulling me back, keeping me lifted. Inhale back up. Nice work. When we start to bring the arms into the front plane, it starts to round the back and it starts to use these muscles to the front body muscles to keep us balanced. But these shoulders openers, the hip freedom, the hip mobility we're talking about is about using the back body muscles to keep us stable. That's what we're working on. We're going to switch legs. So now I think the left foot will be down and the right toe will be on a prop. Find your stature. You can hover toe or touch, no problem. And very slowly pulling the arms back in the back plane, you trace that big open circle. Go slow, friends. Employ all the muscles of the back body. It's easy to move quickly and sort of disengage or lose some of the efficacy of the movement. And once you get to that highest point, you should feel those back muscles really firing in towards the spine. Then you can start to pull the leg back as you just gently sort of sail. You're sailing your body forward, just slightly. And come back up. So it's a much simpler warrior three, but we get to really work an alignment action. Good job. When you're ready, we're going to counter that by dropping down into our squat pose. The shoulders grow a little heavy. We'll come down to our knees. Kneeling posture, where you will point the toes behind you and sit on a block or two or whatever you need to sit on to feel comfortable between your heels. Keep the knees together with the feet apart. Get a little more internal rotation going here. Those hip points are still drawing in. We're just going to let our shoulders and head grow very heavy. We're not dropping forward. You could still think that your back was against the wall. Just the shoulders and head are growing heavy. Trying to release that upper neck. Good. From this position, take your left hand to your right thigh and just gently slide it down toward the knee. So you're rounding a little more, you're twisting a little bit, but you're opening that back left shoulder a lot. Let's bring that back up and let's change sides. Taking the right over to the left and then sliding it down to the left knee. So it opens the shoulder, it twists, it bows just a little bit. And concentrate on releasing the right shoulder. Inhale, back up. Good. Rest your hands in your lap for a moment. Draw the belly muscles back as the front hip points draw towards each other some. Breathe. Low. Lower than the chest. Lower than the ribs. Lower than the belly. Keep your breath very soft. Try to breathe very low, low in the belly. Below the navel, low. Start to slowly roll forward, coming off of your props if you're on them, removing them from your seat. Go ahead, in fact, cross your ankles and sit back. Slide the feet out in front. They can separate a little bit, be extended. You're just going to drape yourself forward like you're a stuffed teddy bear just hanging out. Back should feel very relaxed and released. The shoulders and the hips should feel very released. Good. You're going to scoot forward so that you can roll down onto your back. So the low back is flat on the mat. You can bend your knees, placing the feet flat on the floor. You want to keep that low back relaxed into the mat. Shoulders and head relaxed into the mat. Just rest here a moment. We're going to do a gentle inversion. You can invert by just putting your legs in the air and keeping your hips on the floor. Or you might want to add 1 or 2 blocks. And then you'll just pull your knees up and just kind of let your legs kind of float in the air. You're not overworking. Shoulders are very aligned, and you just have this gentle arc happening from your hips to your ribs. The legs just float. You can also do this legs on the wall, but I'm going to practice mine just floating in the room today. You can put as many blocks under your hips as you'd like. Let's once again concentrate on full body breath, Dirga Pranayama, belly, ribs, and chest. And giving a moment of pause before you exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Give a moment of pause before you inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. And after a pause, chest, ribs, and belly. Try this a few more rounds in the quiet. Bend the knees. And let the feet come to the floor. Remove your prop. Bring the knees into the body. And just rock side to side, very slow. Bring the feet back to the floor. You can separate the feet a little bit and drop both knees all the way to one side, called windshield wipers. Drop the knees all the way to the other side. One more time, windshield wiper the knees, the first side. Second side. Back to center. Slide the legs out long on your mat. Rest your hands on your hips, on your belly, or however it feels good to your body. Stretch your body. Roll up to a comfortable seat. Thanks for practicing. Namaste.